Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to share with you guys. This is the Vanguard Cheetah Integral. Pretty cool. There's another version of this knife that is a sandwich construction or two-piece construction with an M390 blade. This is the Integral, meaning it is one solid piece of titanium. Now this increases the cost of manufacturing. Milling the entire frame from a single block of titanium rather than two pieces is factually more expensive to do. But this knife is still right about the same price. So how did they do that? They changed the blade steel. They went from M390 to VG10. Odd choice. Now, there are plenty of reasons that somebody might pick this up, and I'm going to go over those reasons and explain to you why this isn't necessarily a bad choice, but it's not going to be the choice that a lot of people make, because it is an awkward combination of materials and the process, like the style or the integral feature. It's an odd combination, and obviously they're doing a little bit of experimenting here and seeing what people are willing to go for and are not. I'll give you guys my thoughts on the price tag and my thoughts, my full thoughts on the combination of materials here. Thanks so much to my patrons for supporting me. Thanks to Vanguard for sending this in. Make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. This is still available, at least when I looked. To my surprise, a lot of them had sold. So it seems like people are at least interested enough to sell out certain variations of this knife. They make this in a standard, this is the most standard version. Basic satin finished VG10, basic titanium frame. They also have DLC. They have mirror polished VG10, mirror polished DLC, and then they have a Damascus blade, which I also have. It's not Damasteel. It's just a Damascus. Probably a, VG10 equivalent, like the 10CR 18CO MOV. It's probably that. Or it's a VG10 Damascus, like actual VG10. I have no idea. That'd be my guess. Because if it was actual Damasteel, it would cost another $180 to $200. So, anyways, let's go ahead and measure it. Overall length of this guy, I can't remember if I reviewed the original Cheetah or not. It's not quite an 8-inch knife. 7 3/4 inches. Blade length is 3.35. Cutting edge is about 3 1/4. Let's do some size comparisons. I am unprepared today. My goodness, we didn't even have the NAF's burrito out. My one of 4. I now own 4 of these things. It's kind of hard to explain why. But anyways, do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others, up against my full-size Excalibur. And hey, look, mini, or the compact Excalibur is back. It's actually very, very close to the same size as compact Excalibur. I think we did 7.5 inches on this guy. Let's just make sure. I should know that. It's, yeah, just about. It's like 7.45. This was a prototype, though. I always forget. So very close, but a little bigger. Let's put it up against the Spyderco PM2. There you are. And the Spyderco Para 3. Definitely a little close. I don't know. It's kind of in between, I guess. Maybe a little closer to the Para 3. And then finally, we'll put it up against the Benchmade Reptilian, or in this case, the Ritter Hogue, and the Hogue Deca. Very, very similar to the Hogue Deca, but it's a little taller and a little more beefy. How is the action? It is a frame lock. There is no double clutch, and the action is very good. Thumb studs are similar to Sebenza style, but this has bearings and it doesn't require as much force. It's kind of a ledge right here. It's okay, it's not bad, and access to it is good, but I kind of wish it was a little bit more rounded. Same with the thumb studs. I wish the thumb studs were a little wider, not so pointy, but they do work, and as long as you approach at the right angle, it's fine. Truthfully, manipulation of this knife is pretty easy, and the detent is very, very good. Click. Okay. Let's go ahead and do a carry profile comparison. Thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. The Spyderco Para 3 is thicker. It's a fairly compact integral without feeling dainty. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. It's a beautifully easy knife to carry in pocket. It carries very, very well. as far as its size goes. Let's measure the blade stock thickness since I have the calipers right here and I don't want to lose them. Blade stock thickness on this guy coming in at 124 thousandths. We'll do a hardware check. I'll get out my tools. As per usual, my tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. I bet it's all T8. Let's get the T8 out. There we go. We have a T8 for the pivot screw, and you can, I'll show you that little, this is not a T8. This is a dastardly T9. Sorry about that. I just grabbed the wrong bit. T8, there we go. There's your pivot access, so your internal access for that stuff. There are no body screws because it's one piece, so there is no disassembly of the frame. You can't lose body screws. You could potentially, I suppose, lose the screws of a lock bar insert. I've never actually seen that happen, but I'm sure it has. Same with the pocket clip screws, but once they're set, they should just stay in there. I mean, you don't, if you ever want to remove the blade for whatever reason, maybe you want to clean it, you just pull the pivot out and pull the blade out. That's it. Super easy. That's one of the things I like about integrals. It's also essentially their only benefit, other than cool factor, right? As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's weigh it. Weight is always a factor to consider with an integral because they tend to weigh more. So we have no internal, I mean, that's going to be really tough to do with an integral, but unless you mill all the way through it. 4.4 ounces, really not bad for an integral. It balances a little ways back of the pivot, but not much. Right about here. Meat and potatoes time. It's a good-looking knife. Good-looking knife. I have spit on it. It's not something you do when you like something. There's an accident there, but a good-looking knife. I mean, there's some, Sebenza in there, and there's also just kind of like generic knife shape, We see a lot of drop point blades that look like this. It's because it works. It's comfortable. It's handsome. It's, it's got that modern kind of classiness to it. It's cool. It's a good-looking knife. Ergonomics. Very comfortable. I would have loved for them to have contoured this, but they didn't. It's just flat. Some people like that. But that would have gone a long ways. The spine is crowned, and that's really what is giving off those Sebenza vibes. Absolutely. Vanguard makes a nice knife. These are manufactured in China. Whoever is the OEM, if it's them internally, like if they're called Vanguard OEM service from China, I have no idea. But it is a Chinese manufactured product. This exact thing, because people always, there's always a guy who's like, that much for a Chinese knife? The exact same thing made, literally this, exactly. Same materials. Made in the United States, 250% the cost. Those are facts. Now, as far as how much markup there is in this, I don't know. There's definitely some. But you want the exact same thing made in the United States, even mass produced in the United States, using titanium and even VG10? Yeah. Unfortunately, pretty easy to see companies doing this, using premium materials. Not a lot of American companies making titanium and VG10 integrals. Not a lot of anybody doing that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Odd combination. A titanium integral is typically something a collector buys when they're trying to buy a premium knife. Maybe they plan to use it, maybe it's just for collection purposes, but it's typically an element that is sought after by enthusiasts and collectors, and typically not someone who's just like, gee, I need a good pocket knife to be used every day for work, right? Does it make your knife more durable? No. I mean, you could make an argument, maybe, but no, not really. It's just cool. It's neat. And it's one of those things that it's more costly to do. And so even though it does not add anything in terms of meaningful utility, you could make an argument for just ease of maintenance. It's something that's like, oh, it costs more to do. So it is interesting to enthusiasts and collectors. It doesn't sound like a sensible thing to attract somebody, but it does. And I'm one of those people. I love integrals. I absolutely love them. I think they're super cool. If you do not like integrals, then you have already decided that this knife is not for you, even if you kind of like how it looks, because that is the majority of what you're paying here. A lot of people are going to look at this and say, that much money for VG10? And I agree with you, but it's not for the VG10. It's for the integral part. Because if they made this knife with an M390 blade, guess what? We'd be looking at a $400 pocket knife. That's just factually true. That's what we'd be looking at. So what they're trying to do is tempt people who have always wanted like a premium Chinese integral, right? But maybe they don't want to pay $400 for it. I mean, there's definitely a market there, because a lot of people looked at my pocket knife and said, cool, Excalibur. It's an integral and it's $400, dude. Are you going to make a version that's a little less expensive? I said, yeah, it'll be a two-piece. So we went a two-piece construction and did LMAX, much more premium steel than VG10. And so it's not, I mean, we couldn't do an LMAX integral, not for $250. The target price point was $250. So we had to pull something somewhere, and it was the lower cost of machining the handle in two pieces. This is the opposite of that. They did not the price is not reduced because of the integral frame. It's reduced because they took the money out of the blade part. I mean, obviously we don't need to. It's not rocket science. You can understand what's happening here. The question is that are there people out there willing to spend $280 for a VG10 titanium integral? Apparently there are some. I don't know how many. The hard thing is I don't know how many Vanguard made, and I don't know how motivated those people were to purchase this. VG10 is not a bad steel. It used to be like, oh my god, VG10, the most amazing. It was a Magna Cut of Knife World timelines, much like M390 was. Right? Now we have Magna Cut, now we have Magna Max, right? But VG10, along with steels like 440C, 154CM, these were big dogs in their day. Now VG10 is like, it's fine. It's got okay edge retention, very stainless, good edge stability, good toughness, easy to sharpen. Still a good steel. Performance is very similar to 154CM. And because 154CM and CPM 154 are so close in performance, it has performance similar to CPM 154 when heat treated properly. Funny enough, I feel like this would have been way better accepted had they used CPM 154, which is the powder version of 154CM. And I believe CPM 154 it is superior to VG10, but not by much. And I can't imagine it costs much more. So I feel like that would have been better received. CPM 154 is one of those steels that people just kind of go, okay. It's not the biggest and best and most beastly super steel, but it is a powder form super steel, and it's a friendly steel. It's easy to sharpen. It's very balanced in performance and everything like that. And so is VG10, but the reason people are at this price point is because it's an ingot steel. It's not viewed as a premium steel. It's viewed as a mid-range steel. And honestly, VG10's a little awkward even at the $100 territory. I think people are more willing to accept VG10 when it's on a Japanese Spyderco. I mean, am I wrong? I mean, it's like, where do we place VG10? Where people are like, yeah, that makes sense. You can't find it consistently in the budget world because it's still expensive enough that it's kind of hard to attach it to other materials and sell it for a price that people are willing to pay, right? But you also don't want to charge like $150 for VG10 because people go, that's too much for VG10, right? So Japanese Spydercos, a lot of those, and it used to be that those were. I mean, I think you can still get some of those. What does the Endura run? Is it $100? That's probably about where it is. I think a long time ago I used to say, VG10 should be a budget steel. Well, I found out it's more expensive. I've talked with many people over the years, and I've been told many times VG10 is more expensive than like 14C28N or whatever, right? So I think that CPM 154 would have been better, and I think it would have slightly increased the price, but not much from what I understand. This is a cool knife, and some people are not going to care. The other reason that somebody might pick this up, I think the far more motivating reason for some people to pick these up, Vanguard does a really good mirror finish. It is very nearly a complete mirror. And when you guys go to DLT Trading and you look at this knife and you look at the pictures of the mirror one, you're going to go, that doesn't look like a mirror. I can't even tell. Trust me, it's a mirror. I've shown Vanguard's mirror stuff on this channel. It's awesome. The mirror finishing on these knives is only like $20 more. This exact knife, but mirror polished, is a $300 knife, and this is a $280 knife. Now, once we throw the mirror polishing in there, if you're somebody who loves integrals and mirror polishing, that becomes way more tempting, because how many other mirror polished integrals, remind the blade steel, how many more mirror polished integrals, titanium integrals, at nearly 8 inches are on the market for $300? I'll tell you what the answer is: 0. So they are accomplishing a unique thing here. They are, there's no other competition in this area. The question is are there any buyers here, right? There might not be any competition here because it's just weird. So I think that this is kind of experimental. It's interesting. I would love to have seen them do this with like S35VN or CPM 154. I think they probably could have priced it at $300 to $320 with CPM 154, and I think an S35VN version of this probably could have come in at like $350. And I feel like that would appeal to people. I feel like a lot of people considering this at $280 would be a lot more convinced at $320 for CPM 154 or $350 for S35VN, because still at $350, if you're familiar with the market, the competitive market for high-end Chinese titanium integral knives, anytime you get near or at full size and under $400 is really good. Really hard to do. I do like this knife, though. I like the design. It feels good. It looks good. It's a premium knife. And it is definitely one of the least expensive titanium integrals out there. They just chose kind of a weird steel. Pocket clip, pretty good. Quite the rise here. So you can feel it, but it's not crazy. Stop pin is deep internal. And in the closed position, you can see shouldered entirely underneath. So nowhere near, the plunge grind, which I'll let you guys take a look at right there. I like that the only marks on this blade, you can see right there, it says VG10. It's right under there. And then, well, I guess you do have the Vanguard logo over here, but nothing over here. A good-looking pocket knife. Not a unique pocket knife. We certainly have seen other elements, like the little blue pivot color there is nice too. Very, very minimalist in a not lazy way. I like it. I just wish it had a different steel. I don't know that the price is good or bad. I have nothing else to compare this with. The best answer that I can give you here is that it's one of those things where it is probably priced about as low as it can be. I mean, they probably could have charged $250, $265 maybe, and still been kind of okay. But I'm not necessarily upset with the price tag. It's just weird. Some people are going to I don't think anybody is going to jump out of their socks to buy this. I think people are going to kind of kick it around a little bit and go, oh, okay. This VG10 is fine. And other people are going to go, absolutely not. Not for that. Not for that blade steel. So, recommendable knife? If you, very specifically, if you are into titanium integrals and you're trying to get a mirror polished knife and you cannot spend what would typically be charged for that. The least expensive, by the way, the least expensive is that one from Exclusive Folders that I showed here recently. As far as mirror polished titanium integrals, $485. People go, no, it's $380. That's for the one that's not mirror polished. I'm right. But that was the least expensive. It blew my mind, right? So if you're looking at that and you're like, that's almost $500. There is another option. $170, $180 less. You just have to be okay with VG10 instead of M390. For some people, it'll make sense. And you know what? It's a good knife. You'll enjoy it. VG10's plenty fine. If you are not very specifically, or at least just into the integral part and trying to say, $280, if that's not like a big deal to you, the integral thing, then obviously not. Because $280 will buy you a freaking nice knife with a really good, ideally, very well heat-treated blade. So if you're more into the performance element and the blade is a lot more important to you, then obviously no. So you're going to have to that's one of those things you're going to have to make your mind up for yourself. But for what they did here, I'm not too upset with the price tag. that's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.